for the first two.
Hey, Jay, as effective as James Robinson has been, I suppose you're looking forward to this every week, but how effective will he be when you guys are in the second half with the lead and working the clock?
Yeah, that's the goal. We have to get in that position. We have to put ourselves in that position. Means we have to start faster and finish some drives and keep the game in reach where we can use him for 60 minutes, not just 25 or 30. So we're excited to see that. He's done nothing but impress us in every way, shape, or form. So love to get him some more touches, and those will come in the third and fourth quarter, like you said.
And whatever you saw in James to put him in this role at the beginning in the preseason, and how has he progressed the most since game one?
I think what you can't see in preseason and practices is contact balance and runs after contact and his ability to have vision and break tackles in the hole, which he's done effectively so far. You know, he had a couple really strong runs last week where, you know, we didn't get to everybody, but he made two people miss in the hole and had some positive runs down the field in the holes for 3-4 yard gains. So, like I said, I think between the tackles, outside the tackles, I think we can be more creative with them, get them some more balls out in space. So we're just looking forward to keep working with them. And the more we give him, the more he seems to perform. He seems to exceed our expectations. So it's our job to make sure we continue to utilize him and go from there.
Thank you, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Gary. Let's go Gene and then Jamal.
Hey, Jay. I know it had to be when you heard the news on Monday about Bill O'Brien. If anybody in the NFL can empathize with that, it's you. How distressing, jarring is it for coaches when this happens early on in the season like that? Or do you just sort of accept it as, hey, the NFL's a business and it's going to happen?
Well, both. You know, you have to accept it. You have no choice. You know, that's the way it is. What you signed up for, and you know that it's a production-based business. And if you don't produce, odds are you're probably going to get let go. And unfortunately for Coach O'Brien, that happened to him. It happened to me last year, obviously. And you put a lot of work, blood, sweat, and tears into your profession. You work extremely hard. And when it gets taken away, you don't feel really good about it. But you understand that's the result of performances that aren't good enough. They've had a very tough schedule. They played Baltimore, Pittsburgh, Minnesota, and another Kansas City. And, they're a good football team. He's done a great job of that team and that organization. Unfortunately, it didn't work out, but I do empathize with them. That's for sure.
Thank you.
Sympathize, empathize, whatever you want to say.
Thank you, Gene. Let's go Jamal and then over to John Shipley.
Hey, Coach, how much growth have you seen from Laviska Shenault from the beginning of the season up until now?
A lot, and I think we'll see a lot more. You know, I think Laviska is a guy that we're just going to continue to work with, and he's going to get better and better the more he does and the more he sees. He's coming off that double core surgery that he had in college. I can't wait to see him at full strength. You know, I think he's at full strength, but I think he can get stronger and better and even more productive in the passing game. And obviously the running game, you know, we've taken a little bit off his plate in that regard because James has performed so well. So I think we can utilize him a little bit more. I think the more healthy he gets, the more confidence he has in the system, where to line up, how to play. He's going to be a factor for this football team for many years to come. But we're just scratching the surface with him. But we love the way he works in practice, and his production on game day has been excellent so far. It's our job to get him more touches.
And the past couple of weeks, you've had a couple of big plays wiped off the board because of some penalties. How do you get the offense kind of back on schedule after that and not let it kind of spiral into a punt or, guys hanging their heads like, here we go again?
Yeah, that was tough. You know, we went into halftime 13-10, and Cincinnati took the opening drive, took the lead, make it 17-13. We get the ball. We bust out a 50-yard run to have it called back. And then we did not overcome that penalty, which cost us big time. And the next time we got the ball, we're down 24-13. So it's just something we haven't done a good job of, is overcoming negative plays, the sack or maybe a penalty, first and long, second and long. We've not done a good job this year of overcoming those things. That's something we have to focus on, get back on track package. I tried to run quick game and get half of it back, and we had to throw it away. Then we had another drop back and had to throw it away, unfortunately, and then had to punt. So it's just something we got to do a better job of as coaches, make sure we get the right play in there to try to get we don't have to get it all back on one play. We got to understand that mentality. We still have 2 or 3 downs to get it. We just got to make sure we do a better job of getting that negative taste out of our mouth and continue to move the chains.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Jamal. Let's go over to John Shipley and then Demetrius.
Hey, Coach. You talked about it a little bit last week, but, third down issues came up again this week. Just what can you do as a play caller to kind of help the offense move in the right direction in that regard?
Oh, we just have to give them good options, good solid options, whether it's a good solid running play or maybe it's a drop back pass. Like I mentioned before, it's got to have a man answer. It's got to have some zone answers. We got to win on the outside. We have to have a good pocket, and we have to deliver the ball accurately and on time. Unfortunately, the last 2 weeks, it hasn't been that case. So it's been something different that rears its ugly head. So we just have to continue to work them and make sure we get concepts that are good, that are things that can convert, obviously, the down and distance. But we also have to make sure we produce and get to our right spots, win against man-to-man, step up, maybe move on to your second or third progression, whatever it might be. That requires good protection. So it all works hand in hand. Offense has to be pretty much perfect. The offensive line, the routes, the quarterback, the backs in protection are in a route. And unfortunately, it's been somebody different or something different every time. And we just got to make sure we take that part of the game very seriously, because third downs, in my opinion, and red zone are the two most turnovers are the most important parts of the game.
And then, Coach, I had one more. On the 2-point conversion attempt, was the play designed to go elsewhere other than James, but it was just covered up?
Yeah, Gardner thought he outflanked him and tried to kick it to James, and so he could get to the front pylon and score. But, the design, we had, 4 other options that were going to get to the end zone, and unfortunately it didn't work out. Gardner saw something and decided to dump it to James, who was basically trying to clear out. But, it's a learning experience, and unfortunately, James makes so many good plays. Sometimes when you feel like he's outflanking a guy, he'll run a guy over and score. Didn't happen on that play, but we did have other options.
Thanks, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Shipley. Let's go Demetrius and then over to Mia.
Hey, Coach, what challenges do the Texans present to you guys from their defense? Obviously, they have J.J. Watt, but how difficult is it going to be able to scheme against these guys?
Well, they still have a pretty good, solid defense. I think Roby's playing excellent at corner. And I think they have some good football players. They have a veteran linebacker. The linebacker core is very solid. They can run, they can hit. Obviously, Marcellus is an excellent pass rusher. So they have some weapons on defense that can make it difficult for you. They can rush 4, they can rush 5. They have a unique blitz package as well on third down. They can play man, they can play zone. And it's something that we just have to be aware of. We have to make sure we protect the quarterback, number one, and then obviously try to stay out of those third down and longs, because they can make it miserable for you. They can run 3 defensive linemen in or 2 defensive linemen. They got the odd packages. They got the double A's. They got a lot of different things they can do to you to try to confuse a young quarterback. So we got to do a great job of being on top of our protections. And obviously the most important thing is staying out of third down and 9 and 10.
Thank you.
All right, let's go over to Mia and Jordan.
Hey, Jay, I know last week in reflecting upon the Dolphins game, you mentioned you guys abandoned the run too early. Curious what your assessment was of the performance against the Bengals in the run game, and if maybe you abandoned it too early again. And then also moving forward against the Texans, obviously a team that has struggled against the run. Why do you think that is?
Well, number one, I think we stayed with it pretty good. We tried to come out in the third quarter with the running game. We had that 50-yard run called back. We're stuck in a long yardage situation, so had to throw it. And then next time we still tried to run the ball. But obviously the scoreboard was something we had to kind of press the issue a little bit, try to get some plays down the field to try to get back in the football game. But I think we stuck with it pretty good. Obviously, we'd like to have James getting a 20 to 25 carry range. That'd be the ultimate goal. Get Chris Thompson some more touches and go from there. But it's not always, doesn't always work out that way with the score and conditions or what have you. But the Texans, I think they've given up a 100-yard rusher in 3 games, and I think Baltimore had a couple 100 yards rushing against them. They played good teams. Pittsburgh can really run the ball effectively. Obviously, Minnesota's always been a run the ball. They have Dalvin Cook. He's an excellent runner. Baltimore has 3 guys that can run the ball, including the quarterback, that are very, very good. So it's going to be important for us to try to get some runs in there and crack some and play physical with them and keep our quarterback clean, utilize the play action, and go from there. That's when we're at our best anyway.
Thanks, Jack.
All right, thank you. Thanks, Mia. Appreciate it. Let's go over to Jordan, then we'll finish with Cassidy.
Hey, Coach, you kind of mentioned it earlier with the third quarter, the start for the offense, but it looked like Minshew threw the ball out of bounds a couple times, maybe missed on another throw or two on the first couple drives of the third quarter. To me, it just didn't look like he was himself. Do you have any more insight onto what happened in those two drives?
I think there's a stretch in there where he probably would like to have some plays back, as we all would. When you lose a game, you might point to a few plays, especially if you're the quarterback. There's some plays that were key plays in the game, or might maybe kept the drive alive that I think he could hit 9 times out of 10. It just didn't work out. A lot of times, they have some long defensive players. Carlos Dunlop gets in throwing lanes, a lot, and it might alter his vision down the field on a few occasions. I think that's what happened on a couple times. They weren't really rushing the passer. We had excellent protection a couple times, but I think he had trouble seeing to his second and third progression, which made him run a couple times or get out of the pocket. But that's something that he'll continue to work and continue to get better at. He's been very effective getting out of the pocket and making plays happen with his legs, just not last week. So ideally, we'd like him to stay in there, get to a second and third progression. But as a quarterback, what you feel and how you react is something that you really can't coach. It's something that he's going to have to go through in each individual play. We're going to ask him to scramble for first downs, but sometimes we hope that he stays in there and gets to his second and third progression. But, overall, for the first 4 games, I think Gardner's continued to progress and doing some really good things. But obviously there's some things we need to correct and we will correct. And that's going to be the case for every quarterback in the National Football League.
Thanks, Coach.
Appreciate it. We'll finish with Cassidy.
Hey, Coach. We often talk about the jump a quarterback can take from year 1 to year 2. Gardner technically just now has 16 starts under his belt. So can you feasibly expect a jump in the middle of a season? And if so, what might it look like?
We hope so. We hope that everybody makes a jump. We're going to have to make a jump. We're 1-3 right now. So offensively, we got to play better. Offensive line, running backs, receivers, tight ends, coaches, we all got to do better. 1-3's obviously not good enough. And if you're talking strictly on the quarterback, then, at 1-3, usually the record is indicative of the quarterback play a lot of times from the outsiders. So he's got to get better. And we expect him to get better. He's a young player. He got great energy, great passion for the game. He's got the tools to become better and better each week. But we also have to play better around him and not put him in third and long situations and try not to get down 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter or in 2-minute drill all the time. So it's our job offensively to make sure we finish drives, keep the game close, and that'll make our quarterback play a lot better.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, guys. We'll see everybody at 1 o'clock for Gardner and DJ Chark. Appreciate it. Thanks, Jay.
Thanks, Chad. See you at 1.